All right, welcome to this month's online expansion workshop. This is going to be all about your mind's eye chakra, connecting with it, understanding it, balancing it. And the beautiful thing about the mind's eye chakra is the power that it truly holds. So one thing I will say is that some of us aren't actually visual people. And you're going to figure out if that's you pretty quickly throughout the exercises that we do. And if you're not a visual person, because the mind's eye chakra is all about visualization, there is going to be tips and tools for you to be able to know what to do instead. This is actually a really interesting concept that came to me a few weeks ago. So I've been noticing in some of my clients having their own kind of, what do I want to use? Um, they're having difficulty being able to visualize things. And the more I started to work with them and asking them kind of what they were connecting with, it really started to become very apparent that some people just really don't visualize. And I hadn't really understood that this was something that was possible. I mean, I guess it makes sense now. And if you are someone who likes to keep a lot of pictures around in your home, this is likely your first indication that you are someone who has a difficult time visualizing. Some of us who can't visualize things, we have pieced together this abstract thought and understanding of what we visualize. So whether it be shapes, whether it be signs, whether it be, certain feelings that we lean into instead. So there'll be something for you to be able to do after to move forward with your higher self exercise that I'm going to walk you through. And then the guided meditation that we go through tonight will also be sent to you in a follow-up email with the replay of this. Okay. So first and foremost, our mind's eye meditation is one of our chakra systems. So if you don't know much about your chakras, I'm going to kind of just give you a gist. We have our root chakra, which is located at the base of our spine, which is all about our security and our identity. It determines who we are, where we feel safe and comfortable. Kind of when people ask you, who are you? This is essentially the understanding, the level and the layer that you're connecting with is your root chakra. We have our sacral chakra, which is all about our creativity. It is about our intuition. It is about emotions and our sensuality. And then we have our solar plexus chakra, which is located kind of pretty much right where our stomach is, which is all about our willpower, our drive, our determination. Our courage is what is really activated and is illuminated when we're connecting with that particular one. We have our heart chakra, which is all about love and compassion and joy. Our heart chakra is really where we start to move away from the embodiment and the reality side of life. So it's like all these lower chakras are about when we have memories, when we have experiences, when we have beliefs, they're all stored within these particular systems, energetic systems within our body. And then as we start to move away from the heart chakra, this is really where expansion comes from. This is where when we are doing things out of love and joy and compassion, our energy is more magnetic. It's like when you're having that really happy, amazing day, and then everything else starts to kind of follow suit with it. It's the heart chakra that's really illuminating in your life, that's allowing that magnet for other things to work out. And we move to the throat chakra, which is located in the center of our throat, which is all about self-expression, self-realization. It is all about connecting with now spirit, guides, angels, universe, God, wherever your beliefs may lie. Then we have our mind's eye chakra. And this is really where we build our deepest connection with our team and our higher self. Is located in the center of our forehead. And this is really all about projection. So if you're someone who's not a super visualizing person, you can still have dreams. Just your dreams are likely much more abstract, or you wake up with particular strong feelings. If you're someone who does dream, whether it be often or not so much, vivid dreams, lucid dreams, the more that you start to open up your energy and understanding with connection in life and reality and more systems and what else is possible and really reshaping your beliefs, this is where dreams become a much bigger, what's the word I want to use for this? It becomes much more interesting because your energetic body, which I'll explain in a moment, is starting to realize that you're here and ready to bridge the gap. And once we decide on something is really when things start to unfold for us. So once we start to decide on the belief that, what else is possible, anything is possible, what are you available for? And then you decide what you're available for, working with limiting beliefs, connecting with spirit guides, connecting with angels, God, universe guides, whatever one you associate with, if not all of them, we start to open up this channel of understanding where we see things without seeing them. So just like we can see things with our naked eye, when you close your eyes and you envision your car, what it looks like, walking up to it, getting into it, the dash, the seats, the panel, you're now seeing that space with your mind's eye. If you're someone who can't quite visualize your mind, that what I talked about, your vehicle or, a sense of transportation that you utilize, what you're going to envision instead, or what you're going to be embodying, is a feeling of what it's like to touch that handle, to open that door. Maybe there's a particular sound that stands out for you, right? But we're still utilizing the same practice and mind's eye connection, because it is something that we've experienced so often with our eyes that there's memories that are instilled within our brain that help to relive that experience. But with your eyes closed, if you're a visual person, you're seeing what I'm talking about. You're seeing that vehicle, that transportation that you're getting into. And that's you seeing with your mind's eye. When we do higher self connections, when we do spirit guide connections, when you're envisioning, making decisions or seeking clarity for something that you're calling into your life, you're wanting to experience in your life, what you do is you visualize that experience. You feel into and embody that experience, because it's not about having the thing, experiencing it, and then like being that version of you that gets to have it. It's about embodying the version of you who is going to inevitably make or create that experience, which I'll go more into depth in a moment. But it's kind of the pattern that we're going to be going through. We're going to be stepping into that version of us that gets to have those resolutions, that gets to have that partnership, that gets to have that job, that money, that experience. And then we're going to start taking actions and steps from that position in place. That's why we're connecting with our higher self. And then from that place, you have this experience of exactly what it is that you're calling in. Now, always be open to the opportunity of things being exactly as they're meant to be and showing up exactly when they're meant to be. But that also goes into divine synchronization, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a moment. But essentially what divine synchronization is, it's not about something in the future happening for you. It's about being in the energy of what that experience is meant to be, so that it can come to you sooner. There's no actual particular timeline or date farther in the future where you're going to experience something, because it could be a week from now, a day from now, a month from now, 2 years from now. But the difference is how much you embody that feeling and those actions and that version of you that gets to do and be that way, and then moving forward into allowing that opportunity to show up for you, depending on what you're calling in. But really, that's something that you can apply to absolutely anything that you're trying to shift and transition in your life at this time. And then we have our crown chakra. So our crown chakra is the connection to oneness and all. So we have our main 7 chakras within our body. We also have additional chakras that go up and above, which I'm not going to get into today. You can feel free to look it up if you feel called to. But essentially, the chakras that go above our head are different connections and portals. And each chakra has a different kind of connection and portal that it branches off to. So it kind of just depends how in depth we want to go. For this particular exercise and workshop, we don't really need to know too much about them, but this one in particular we do. So I'm going to talk lots about that as we go through. When I refer to our energetic body, what I mean by that is we have the physical body, the one that experiences everything. It is made up of our organs and our skin. It is the tangible aspect of our reality. But we also have an energetic body, and our energetic body is made up of our chakras and our aura. And that is the version of us that vets every situation, circumstance, person that comes into connection with us at all times. It's the version of us where our intuition comes through and it brings through a language. So your intuition being the language of what you need to know at any particular time. So when you're around certain people, especially new people, and you get a feeling, that's your intuition telling you what you need to know. It's not judgment. It's not judgment, unless you're judging what they're wearing. But It is your intuition telling you what you need to know. And so obviously when I say that, I mean, when you get a particular offsetting feeling, this is what that is. It's not the judgment, it's your intuition. But when we are connecting with our mind's eye, we utilize this. My guides want me to share something. We utilize this when we are ready to make shifts and changes, especially when we're in a place of uncertainty or scarcity or limitations or unwillingness. When we know what we need to do, but we don't know how to do it, or we do know what we need to do, but we're afraid to do it, or we want to make big strides and leaps and jumps, but there's something holding us back, whether it be money, judgment, limiting beliefs, the position that you stand in your life. Utilizing and activating your mind's eye is one of your most sacred tools to be able to see the direction and the path of where you're going to go. Now, it may not be laid out completely like a movie. If you are someone who's a visual person, I'm not going to say that it's not, because I have definitely had experiences where I have seen the whole thing unravel for me. And then other times I've had it where I've just been shown pieces and bits, like clips, as to what I need to do or what I need to know to allow me to move forward. We're going to do a guided meditation in a moment so that you can really get connected with the visualization of your higher self. This whole premises of this workshop is to get you clear and connected with the version of you that's guiding you, to help to bring that connection to you so that we take less time going and seeking the advice and opinions of other people. I'm not saying don't do that, but I am saying sit with yourself first, because no one person or thing is going to give you better advice or direction than your higher self, the version of you in the future who has completed and accomplished whatever it is that you're trying to do. And they are going to bring you the guidance to show you where you need to be and how we're going to get there. Whether it be through a feeling, whether it be through images, whether it be through a word, whether it be through an action, however that ends up playing out for you, you're going to likely find out here right away. When we are working with our third eye, if you are someone who is new to this work, who's new to activating your mind's eye, you can do simple exercises just like what I talked about in the beginning, closing your eyes and visualizing something that you already know in your life, whether it be the room that you're sitting in, whether it be your vehicle or transportation, whether it be the job that you go to, whether it be a person in your life. When you sit and you close your eyes, you disconnect from your external reality and you're now just internal. You're now just connected within. Now, that doesn't mean that you've disconnected from obviously things like hearing or feeling, but this is the best place for you to really center and focus your mind so that it has a clearer direction of what we're about to be doing. That's why when you're doing meditations, they always typically ask you to close your eyes so that you can just be connected to your heart space, connected with it, connected with the chakra system. When you are sitting there with your eyes closed, you want to you can even do this right now, just as I'm talking about it. Pick something in your life that you know to be true, so a person, a place, or a thing, and just start working with the visualizations of it. This is also going to be your first indication as to how powerful or strong your visualization is. So if you're someone who has found throughout the majority of your life that you have to have a lot of pictures, you're probably going to see or feel things in an abstract sort of way. Or if you're someone who can visualize with your mind's eye, with your mind, we're banking off memory. But the beautiful thing is you're still seeing it with this other source of insight and guidance. So just sit with that for a minute, decide on something in your life that you know what it looks like, what the experience is, so a vehicle, a job, a person, a place, and just kind of look around that thing that you've chosen. What are the details? How clear is it to you? Some of you may even feel this activation and it may kind of freak you out a bit, or it may be way clearer than you expected it to be. If for any reason you feel uncomfortable, please open your eyes. But if you're okay with it, just sit with it and understand that this is normal and neutral. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. The thing about your mind's eye is when we start activating this chakra, because it's in the higher connection with spirit and energy, because this is solely an energetic chakra connection, you may feel a little bit nauseous, or you may feel a little bit more overwhelmed than usual or anxious. Some people can experience headaches. I just want you to know this, because the more that you do this work for yourself, your physical body is now going to have to start catching up to your energetic body. Because in our energetic body, when we decide things, it happens. And now, to say the degree of how quickly things manifest in our life is a little bit different. But when we want to visualize something, it's going to be there. When we start really seeing and feeling into our higher self and the direction that we're going, or the resolution that we're seeking, or the abundance that we're trying to create in all areas of our life, once we start deciding it, our energetic body's already there, because it's trying to find a way to make that happen for you. But in our physical body, we have our subconscious mind that is kind of like the gatekeeper to our life, that wants to keep us safe and comfortable. And when your energetic body is ready to go and it shoots forward to try and discover all the paths and plans of how that's going to be created and unfold for you, your physical body knows what's true and safe in your life, and it goes, ooh, I don't know if that's possible. Limiting beliefs. I don't know if I can do that. What are the restrictions that you face in your life? I don't know if that's available for me, typically money or a person's judgment, right? And then your physical body has to try and catch up to your energetic body. So that's where we experience those physical things in our life. The other thing too, if at any particular time when you're meditating, or you're feeling like you are ready to start manifesting things into your life in a bigger way, and you start to feel those experiences, you can just simply sit with your eyes closed for a moment. And whether you know who your guides or your angels, or if you choose the universe or God, you can just ask them for a moment to just take away whatever feeling does not belong to you. And within 5 minutes, that should go away. 5 is the number of change. And for me and my clients that I've worked with, that has always worked for them within 5 minutes, and it has been taken away from them. You'd actually be surprised how often headaches or anxiety is created from that space. I'm not saying always, but most times, especially in my experience, that's what it is. And I just ask my guides, my angels, the universe to take away what doesn't belong to me, and it will be removed. But I want you to know that, because this work isn't for the faint of heart. And in order to create expansion in your life, you have to go through uncomfortable things. You're going to have to, step away from people in your life that are no longer serving you. You're going to have to make big and bold and rash decisions that are going to get you into a better position in your life, whether that be financially, relationship-wise, job-wise. You're going to have to make commitments to yourself for things like health, depending on where you're at and what you're wanting to transition in your life. But when we do expansion work in our physical body and in our energetic body, your energetic body goes first, and then your physical body tries to catch up. And that's where you also start to realize and experience a lot of things happening all at once. It's like, why is this, and this happening? It's not that it's happening to you, it's happening for you. And that's really where the expansion comes in your life. So when we work with our mind's eye and we do these higher self connections, it's a way for us to really sit and to decipher what we're doing, why we're doing it, what the outcome on the other side could be. And typically when we connect with our higher self, she's going to give you a feeling. She's going to want you to embody and understand a word or a feeling that you need to sit with in order to get you to where you need to be. The things that we chase in life aren't the things that we chase. It's the feelings that we're chasing behind that experience. So, example, money. We chase money. We would love to have more money because it allows us more freedom to be and do what we please. But it's not the money that we're chasing. It's the freedom and the feeling of joy and effortlessness and ease that we're chasing. So your higher self is going to bring you in direction and understanding and the feeling that you need to feel into in the current areas of your life right now, and able to, in order for you to embody that version of you in the future who gets to experience that. So I'll give you a little bit of context behind that. In order for me to make this trip that I just went on to possible for me, I really had to feel and embody, and connecting with my higher self, the direction of how that was going to unfold, the additional money that was going to need to be available, the hotels that we were going to need to book, and particular, like what me and my girlfriend's objective was is that we wanted places that were cute, that were near where we needed to be, that were affordable, and that weren't, you know, less than 5 stars or less than 4 stars. So in order to have that, you also need to have the abundance. You need to have the clear vision with your higher self as to not necessarily all the details of the hotel, but what the feeling is walking into those places. And the experience of the retreat that I went to. And then afterwards, the breakthroughs that I was seeking. I had to feel into that experience in connection with my higher self, what she wanted to show me and what she wanted me to chase. And then going through that whole experience, it started with the first 20 minutes through the airport. We both looked at each other, me and my girlfriend, and we knew we needed to go in the bookstore. We walked directly to the back of this bookshelf. And there was several, if you've ever been in the airport in Edmonton, there's several bookshelves in the Indigo chapter or in the Indigo bookstore. We went directly to one. The 2 books that we needed, we didn't even realize we needed, but once we started reading them, realized we needed, showed up for us. It was flight after flight after flight, the attendants telling us that we were not going to get our bags on, that feeling of peace and certainty that everything was going to be okay, allowed us to bring our bags onto the flight every single time. An overhead spot just so happened to open up. Spots under our seats just happened to fit our luggages, where they would follow us all the way down the plane and say, like, no, that's not going to work. We're like, it's okay. We're just going to try. If it doesn't work, we're not opposed to checking our bags, but we believe that this is going to happen. And it did every single time. To the hotels that we stayed at, incredible service, incredible places, walks away, just a couple blocks away from the beach every time. Every place that we went to offered breakfast. The retreat that we went to, we made incredible friends. All the breakthroughs that we were anticipating or hoping for came through, and so much more. We made new friends. We manifested discounts on our shopping spree that we didn't even think or feel was going to be possible, but we wanted before we got there. So we envisioned, we embodied that feeling of going in, getting the stuff that we needed and the things that were perfect for us, and new brand color outfits and all this stuff. We embodied that because we envisioned it. And it all truly unfolded that way. So in this work to expansion, when you create this in your life and you embody these new feelings, you get to open up these channels and ports that open up possibilities beyond what you can even technically perceive to be possible and available for you. I didn't know how I was going to fund an additional trip for myself, let alone the trip for my husband that he also ended up partaking in on this same weekend. But because I do the work to embody the feelings that I'm chasing, when they unfold, I'm mind blown, but I'm also not surprised because this gets to be natural. This gets to be normal for me. And if it gets to be normal for me, it definitely gets to be normal for you. And whatever that thing is in your life, if it's that divine relationship and partnership, if it's that group of friends and connection, if it's that job and that position or the money or whatever it is for you, that gets to be a normal, natural thing. Your desire gets to be a part of your experience. And when we're going to go through the higher self meditation here in a moment so that you have more insight and clarity as to who your higher self and version is, and you really know what I'm talking about. But when you do these exercises, when you really take the intentional time to step in and tap into that version of you who gets to experience that as a normal, natural thing, you start to see things unfold that, yes, you're definitely blown away by. But then the more that it happens, the more you start to realize this is actually possible and available for me. This isn't a concept. This isn't a trick. This isn't a, test or a gimmick. This is actual things that unfold constantly for me in the way that I desire them to be. Because it's in that feeling that you chase and you apply to the life right now that allows all those other things, the expansion of the version of you here, that gets to just move more effortlessly, and paths open up and people show up and connections show up and money shows up, circumstances shows up. Some of them uncomfortable, but also an opportunity for you to pivot or release. And then you get to just learn even more about yourself and what you're available and able to create for you. Okay, so I'm just going to check in. So another thing that you can do, some just very simple, tangible things to really work with activating the mind's eye, is you can incorporate colors of like blue or indigo into your life. So whether that be in your clothing. So blue, like a deeper blue is more of your throat chakra, but really whether it's the blue or kind of the indigo-y purple color, because that's blue is the throat, indigo is more of the mind's eye. Incorporating these types of colors in your life just helps to naturally activate it within your body with a physical thing. So wearing shirts or clothing, bracelets, jewelry, eating those types of food are some of the more easier ways to really work with it. The biggest kind of transformation and expansion that you're going to experience is when you do the meditation works surrounding it. And if you're someone who's not a super visual person, vision boarding is a super, super, super helpful thing. Even if you are a visual person, vision boarding is super fun because it gives you that opportunity to really just see and put the plans on a paper. You can do it by cutting out magazines, printing stuff off the internet. You can go on like Pic Collage on your phone and start plugging in things from Pinterest or whatever you're saving, just to help give you even more motivation and visuals of exactly what you're calling in and trying to create into your life right now. Okay, so before we do the meditation, I just want to walk you through a quick exercise that's in the worksheets that are provided. If you don't have them, that's okay. I'm going to reattach them when I send out the replay. If you do have them, perfect. I'm more so just going to go over them with you. If you want to like really start working through them, if you have them in front of you, then always encouraged. So in one of the exercises on the worksheet is an alter ego. So this is really where you get to sit with kind of using your imagination and the childlike version of you who is playful and fun and creative and imaginative. And you get to start deciding, what is that future version of you? How does she act? What does she do? What are the choices that she makes? What are the feelings that she chases? What are the practices that she does in her day-to-day life? And your routine in life is going to be very vastly different than literally anybody else. What works for me is not going to work for you. So this exercise is something that you can go through to really set in what works best for you. So for me, my biggest thing is getting up early. So my higher self, she gets up early every day. She has the importance and the drive and the motivation to get out of bed, even if she has to drag her heels out of there. But between 5 and 6 a.m., she gets up early. Now, I don't do this every day, but I do this minimum of 3 times throughout the week. And the importance of this is that I'm being realistic with myself, that I know I'm not going to get up like this every day of the week. So I wouldn't make that something for me to try and implement right now. Plus, I have young children. So if there's late nights, I definitely know that there's going to be nights where I'm not getting up that early. But I'm going to be flexible in it enough that I know that I'm going to show up 3 days a week. And I'm also going to be forgiving enough that if there are days where I don't, that's okay. I'm still working to implement and embody this new practice, this new principle, this new version of me. And this version of me didn't take 1 minute to get to. She took however many weeks, months, days, years to step into that. And so for me now in this position, I am going to start being how she is so that I can get to where she is a lot sooner. So it's like, what is that thing for you that you want to start implementing and changing in your life? Maybe it's getting up earlier. Maybe it's starting your day with some sort of meditation or exercise. Maybe it's drinking hot lemon water for digestion first thing in the morning. Maybe it's taking an extra 5 minutes to just actually intentionally sit and eat your breakfast. Maybe it's whatever that thing is for you, right? What is something that you want to start implementing into your life right now that's going to help you be more consistent in who you are and where you want to go and what you want to be? So this alter ego exercise is really where you just kind of break down and you go through, what does that version of you do? Who is she? How does she act? What are the things that she chooses? Maybe she's more decisive. I used to be very indecisive, where it was difficult for me to even choose what to, have for dinner. And now I give myself 2 to 3 options, and that's what it is. And then I pick. Whereas before I'd be like, oh, I don't know, like you pick something, or like recipe after recipe, which you can go down a wormhole on Pinterest. But you just kind of go through this and you start to reevaluate your life. You start to look at all the different channels of where you're at right now to really start to see what's good. If there's an area in your life that's good, perfect. Let it be good. Let it be great. Let it be whatever it is. But then there's likely going to be an area that needs improvement or changes. So it's like, okay, so what can I do here? What is that version of myself in the future? How does she treat this? What does she do with this? Maybe it's health. Maybe you start with 10 minutes of exercise a day or stretching even. When I had my daughter, there's this whole stigma about getting back to your pre-baby weight. Well, that wasn't a possibility for me right away because I had abdominal separation. So for me, I feared actually working out and making it worse because I didn't want my, post-baby weight to not be able to be my pre-baby weight, which is a whole nother thing that we're not getting into. But if you're a mom, you definitely know what I'm talking about. So I had to ask my future self, what are things that she does right now to help me get through this? And it was stretching. 10 minutes a day, doing the best that I could. And eventually it ended up being walking on a treadmill for 15 minutes every day. I'd go outside, but it's snowing. And it's just starting to implement these different things. And even on the days where I don't do those 15 minutes, what else can I do instead? Maybe if it's a down day while watching TV, I'm stretching on the floor. Maybe it's that I'm just more conscious or intuitive with my eating, right? Asking my body, what color does it want to eat? And then finding something to fuel it from that color. That's one of the best ways for you as well. Just a side tip to start working and balancing your chakras is whenever you get hungry, asking your body what color it wants to eat. And immediately you're going to get some particular colors. So for me, the first thing that comes to my head is green. So my body's telling me to activate more within my heart chakra. And so green foods are going to fuel that. The colors that you see are related to some sort of chakra, whether it be your root that's red, your solar plexus that's orange, your sacral chakra that's orange, your solar plexus that's yellow, your heart chakra that's green, your throat chakra that's blue, your mind's eye that is indigo, or your crown chakra that's a really light purple. And that is just one of the ways that you can work with each particular chakra and activate it within the body. So just a side note. But then you can name your alter ego. You can choose a name for yourself. So my name is Riley June Solomon. My alter ego's name is Riley June, which, as you I'm sure can tell, is all of my business page stuff. And that version of me who has the successful business, who has the community and the connection, who goes on the trips, who speaks at the conferences, who does these incredible open mediumships and group readings and all these things, that's the version that I'm chasing. That's the version that I'm feeling into and embodying and moving into. So for you, it's always fun to name your alter ego, and you can use it. It doesn't even have to include your name. It could be Tiffany or Bianca or Beyonce, right? You can pick whatever feels best for you. But be fun, be creative, be imaginative, right? It also helps you too whenever you get stuck in a sticky situation, whether it just be an uncomfortable thing, an unnecessary thing, an unideal thing, a traumatic thing. You can ask yourself what that alternative version of you would do. The amount of clarity that this exercise in itself has helped me with has been profound. For example, even when did I fly back? Yesterday? We were on the last 3-4 hours of our trip. We got held up at at the airport in Vancouver. And we went to a restaurant because we wanted food, and we started noticing that nobody was working with each other. It was like everything was going to take longer. The servers were annoyed with customers and themselves and the place, but we wanted a certain type of food. So we were willing to wait there anyways. And as soon as you step into a place like that, you automatically start to feel annoyed. You start to feel frustrated. You start to feel like, am I going to miss my flight now? Is this going to go wrong? You start to go down this wormhole of, all the things that could unravel in a not so great way. And I had to ask myself, what would Riley June do in this moment? And what she would do is she would have patience. She would trust. If she needed to, she would ask the questions. But ultimately, she would trust that everything was going to work out. And as soon as I asked myself that question, and I took a minute to just close my eyes and to feel into what trust felt like in my body, the anxiety released. I was able to sit in peace and just be distracted and know that time was going to unfold exactly as it was meant to. And we got our food. We still had 3 minutes to get to the gate before they even started boarding, which was just around the corner. And everything truly worked out. And we got to have a great dinner on the plane because I took that moment to just really acknowledge where I was at and ask myself, if this was a future version of me, how would she treat this situation? Would she feel overwhelmed and frustrated? Or is there something else that I could do, that I could embody, I could envision, I could step into to help this process go smoother, if not better than expected? And that's exactly what happened. So you can use your alter ego in so many different ways. And it really just helps to give you insight into bridging this gap between where you are and where you want to be. Because the version of you in the future has a lot more patience. She has a lot more clarity. And that's not to say everything goes perfectly like magic and rainbows and sunshines every day and moment of her life. But when unideal things show up, even if there's something as small as being on a time schedule, you get to stop and you get to feel what that's going to be like to sit with that patience and that understanding and that freedom. Okay, so I am going to walk you through a guided meditation. Okay. Do you want to help her? Thanks, babe. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. And I'm going to walk you through a guided meditation to help you connect with your higher self. I'm going to invite you to place one hand on your heart, right in the center of your chest. And just listen to the words that I say. And as I speak, breathe and release. Take a deep breath in. Release. And we're just going to let go of anything exciting, anything overwhelming that may be happening at this time. We're going to allow and understand our energy grounding into the floor beneath us, like roots from the bottom of a tree, going down, down, down into the earth, solidifying us in this moment for presence, stillness, and calming. From that same space that those roots entered into the ground, a white light is going to come up through them, through your feet, through your legs, to the center of your body, up through the top of your head. And we're just going to call on our angels and guides and highest, greatest good to bring us the connection and understanding that we require and desire today. As we take this time to connect and call in our higher self, to experience the version of us who creates simplicity, freedom, abundance, love, connection in our life, so that we can walk away embodying a new feeling and a new version to allow us to expand and move forward. Take a deep breath in, release. And you're just going to visualize a bright, light purple light circling above the top of your head. Your crown chakra is activating the chakras beneath it, opening them up to this experience. You're going to envision yourself looking upwards with your mind's eye, eyes still closed. and this portal opening above your head. It kind of looks like a tornado, but is white. And you know that it is safe. And you start to get curious. And as you continue to look up through this portal, your energetic body starts to leave your physical body where you stand. And it starts to float through this portal while looking down through the bottom at where you sit, seeing the top of your head. This is different for you, but you know that you are safe. And as you continue to float upwards, up, 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 through this white portal, you are being guided to your higher self. And all of a sudden, this portal opens up, and you have been taken through the layers and levels of the earth, and you look around at what you see to be perceived as space. You see a small planet in the distance. You see stars all around you. And as you're floating in space, a figure that feels familiar starts to come towards you. The closer it gets, the more you're able to see that she looks like you, that she is you. And she reaches out and grabs your hands with warmth and love. And it's like you've never been apart, that you're picking up from where you left off. And as you float in space, embracing each other's hands, staring into each other's eyes, what feelings does she give you? What does it feel like to be in her presence? What does it feel like when you are with her? That energy that you're experiencing, that feeling, is her guidance for you in what to apply into your life today. She leans in for a moment and she whispers one word in your ear. What is it? She is giving you guidance in what to do to move forward. As you sit in space with your higher self, taking in this connection, maybe there's something about her physical self that stands out for you. Her hair, what she's wearing, how she looks. She's giving you guidance in so many different ways of what you are going to one day inevitably embody. What's her personality? Does she have a more airy, dreamy side to her? Or is she more rooted and stern? Maybe there's a color that is emanating around her at this time. You have a question that you want to ask her about your life right now. You're safe to do so. Whatever it is that she shares with you is the guidance you are receiving to move forward. And now it is time to depart, knowing that she is going to be there with you whenever you need her to be. That you can come to this space at any time, connect with her for clarity and guidance in all ways that you desire it. She holds one hand and she brings you back down to this portal of where you came through, guiding you. You're safe. As you look down through the portal, you see the top of your head, where you sit, and you move through it, down, down, down. And as you come out of the portal, your energetic body floats back into your physical body and rejoins you in this moment. Take a deep breath in. Release. When you're ready, you can start to wiggle your fingers, your toes, stretch, open your eyes. Okay. All right. So feel free to utilize the chat box if you have any questions or anything in particular came through for you. What I do encourage you to do is hopefully you have a piece of paper with you, or even use your phone and pull up the notes section and just write down some of those things that came through for you. What is the word that she shared with you? What was the energy that she expressed around you? Maybe a color stood out for you. What color was it? Is there something, some sort of guidance or something that she shared with you in regards to the question that you may have had? Is there a personality characteristic or trait, clothing or hairstyle that really stands out for you? And just take a couple moments here to just write down whatever it is that you experienced. Maybe it was a feeling. When you do this exercise, it's all about just being open to whatever's possible. The more that you do it, the more it becomes neutral. The more it becomes neutral, the more clearer the visions and the experience gets for you. And the more clear that it gets, the more easier it is for you to step into and embody and to take action and make moves from that place of whatever it is that comes through for you. So for me, making that whole trip that I just experienced happen, I really had to work with and embody that version of Riley June who experiences those trips, who gets to have limitless fun and experiences and money to do as she pleases in the time frame and what she's desiring to do. She gets to go there and she gets to be with the people and see the things and do the things. And she's not worried. She gets to make the friends and the connections to move forward in any way, shape, or form that she sees fit or desires. Your alter ego, your higher self, is there guiding you in that similar direction for you. I would really encourage you following this to take a few minutes to even go on Pinterest and just screenshot some of the things that you are calling into your life right now. Maybe it's a trip, Maybe it's a style, maybe it's health goals or miracles, an experience, a home, decor, a relationship, a particular lifestyle, completed goals, job, whatever that thing is for you. I encourage you to go on. And if you want to take it a step further, get magazines or printouts and put them on. You can do a blank sheet of paper. You can go and even get yourself a cardboard, big cardboard paper, and put together a vision board for yourself. Because whether you can do it through your mind's eye or not, it's always extra fun. One, just fun to do a project, some sort of crafting project, especially when it's about your goals and your vision of the future. And then if you are someone who has a hard time with actually seeing things, visualizing things, the vision board is really important because it helps to give you that physical aspect that you need, the picture of the direction that you are chasing and following. When you do this type of meditation, you can never not do it enough. But I would encourage you to do it when you're feeling like you're losing your way or you need more clarity. If it's something that you want to do every day just to meet and be in touch with your higher self, that's always okay. But if you're doing it from a place of desperation, as if to not believe that you can experience that version of you now, then I'd probably say don't do it as much. That would be the only kind of stipulation. But the meditation that I'm going to send to you, you will have it to utilize at any point that you desire. And it's a really great one, especially when you're trying to make transitions in your life, big or small. It can be something simple. It can be something big. That's actually how I got this cat. Right, Fifi? Yeah. I was at a women's entrepreneurial conference in 2018, and we did a higher self exercise. And after that exercise, we had to write down on a card whatever we were calling in for that next year of our life for ourselves. And I had written on mine, the first thing, a white fluffy cat. 2 weeks after I got home from that conference, unfortunately, not how I was like hoping that this would all play out. One of my other cats that I had ran away. And so my husband went out and got a white fluffy cat to replace that hole that was in my heart. And it's just like, that's something really simple, right? I kind of did it as a joke, but also knowing that in some way, shape, or form, I was going to have a white cat in my life. And it just so happened that because of my understanding that in some way, shape, or form, that was going to be possible for me, it ended up showing up 2 weeks later. So it doesn't matter what that thing is that you're calling into your life, right? Even if it seems untangible or unrealistic right now, doing these types of exercises, visualizing it, feeling it, embodying it, that feeling that you're trying to get to, allows your energy to start chemically changing so that it can be available and a magnet to whatever it is that you're calling into your life. And you get to have that. You get to experience these things. These desires that are placed in your heart are not here because of just some random idea that you thought of. You'd likely find that if we started sharing all of our desires in our life right now, some of them would probably cross, but a lot of them would actually probably be very different. And it's because we get certain things that are placed in our path and in our mind and in our imagination and in our body just for us to experience. And once we start realizing that that's something that you get to have, in some way, shape, or form, there is a way to be a part of that, to experience that, to have that. You start to turn this new, what do I want to say, like device or belief in your head where it's like, okay, I understand where I am, my limitations are. You start to be more self-aware of the way that you think and feel about certain things. And then you also start to be equally self-aware about what other thought you can think to get to that space. So what I mean by that is a limiting belief would be money doesn't grow on trees, or you have to work really hard to get to a position of wealth or riches or things like that. When in fact, money is actually a byproduct of trees, right? And money is not a linear transaction. It is not A to B. It is a cycle. It goes out just as much as it comes in. And if you look to your past, you will see proof of things to help you support that. And if you don't have proof, that doesn't mean you can't now create a new pattern and cycle. So what I mean by that is, you look to your past. We'll just use money. I'll use another example as well in a minute. But you look to your past at how money has always supported you, has always shown up for you, has always been there. Whether you were able to pay all your bills or not, how have you been able to pay some of them? Groceries, right? Money has always been there to support you in some way. And when you start to realize that and you start to see things from that perspective, your energy becomes more expansive surrounding money, and you start to experience little incremental changes and shifts that allow more effortlessness and ease with money. Relationships. If in the past you haven't had positive experiences with relationships, but you are calling it into your life now, visualizing and embodying the feeling of what it's like to be in that relationship with the willingness and understanding that you are going to be just as responsible of how you show up with that. So if you have negative experiences from the past, you are moving forward, being willing to open up that channel of trust, to not apply your past experience to your future experiences, or at least be willing to work through what that would be and how it shows up for you. And embodying and stepping into being available for those new relationships, right? Opening up that channel, being open and available for trust. Or if it's just about working on you in this season of your life, right? Understanding that you are willing to shift and transform and transition your mindset, your energy, your beliefs, the way that you show up in the world, to allow this be a time of your life where you get to spend this time focusing on you, right? So you get to apply it in whatever way works best for you, wherever you're at, whatever you're calling in. But these are kind of the ways that you get to step into that. Everything is energy. Just like how I talked about your energetic body, it vets every situation, circumstance, and connection before you even touch it, before it even shows up for you, right? You've likely had various experiences where your phone is ringing and you think of a person, or you were just talking about a person, and then that person ends up being on the phone. Your energy already knew that that person was coming. And so now it comes in through an interruptive thought. So a Claire audience experience, that's one of our senses that we have. And it tells you, hey, this person's coming. You know, it's not by random. But in order to do the shift work in your life, the personal development, the energy development, spiritual development, you don't have to pick one thing to believe in. It could be angels, gods, guides. Maybe meditation doesn't work for you. Maybe instead, you know, doing the dishes or the laundry or petting your animal. That's another form of meditation. Anytime you're doing a linear activity, right? So if you're trying to be more intentional with your meditation, but you're just not finding that it's working for you, what else could you do instead that is similar? So meditation, you think of it, it's sitting on the floor. It's eyes closed, palms up, you know, working for silence. If you're a mom, like I am, with 3 children, sitting in meditation for extended periods of time, I'm just not available for that. There's one, I also just don't have the desire to do that. So I find other forms to help me get that same type of clarity or quiet time in my life. And that's through doing laundry or dishes or playing with my animals or playing with my kids, right? Gardening, very linear activities, something that's on repetition. That's also a form of meditation. So you get to adjust and adapt to what works best for you. And that's what it's all about, is your intuition, your higher self. She's an extension of you right now. So if sitting in meditation for an hour isn't your thing, your higher self isn't going to do that either, unless it's something that you desire to do. So then you just have to kind of reverse engineer and figure out, okay, well, I'm going to be more intentional about this, but my meditation time is going to be folding my laundry. So in that moment, instead of being overwhelmed about doing the laundry, I'm going to feel gratitude that I'm spending this time with myself with the intention to fold the clothes and put them away and have all these options of what's available for me to wear, and the money to be able to have the washing machine and the dryer going, and to wash and to clean and to dry my clothes. And you just turn it into a whole experience, right? And it also helps you to shift into more of a positive energy. And the more that your energy is positive and is happy and is in this enlightened space, the easier things get to be for you. In that moment in the airport where I could have been frustrated and overwhelmed and restricted about the time and the people, asking my higher self what she would do, and she's just telling me have patience, I was able to sit and trust that message and be like, okay, I'm going to have patience. And I naturally just felt better overall. And everything worked out exactly as it was meant to, right? We get to have these experiences. It may sound a little bit woo woo in the beginning, like, I don't know if that's actually how it works. But let me tell you, the last 2 years of my life, that has been how it works. And in the beginning, it was a much slower process because I had to really work with, okay, this actually gets to be available for me. And I had to keep showing up with asking my higher self, with doing these exercises, with taking that time to journal, with being intentional with what I was trying to get to and embody and to be. And now, 2.5 years later, I get to have these effortless experiences like the trip and the whole experience and the books showing up for us and everything that ended up unfolding so that the trip could be magical and effortless and easy and insightful. And the downloads, it got to be that way, and it gets to be that way for you too, right? And whatever it is that you're calling into your life, or all the things that you're calling into your life. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Maybe to get to that position where it's all the things, we have to choose and make decisions. But then eventually you get into the space where you're like, okay, I get it. I get it. I'm going to show up. I'm going to do it. So I hope that was insightful for you. Feel free if you have any questions to utilize the chat box and ask away. Yeah, I'm just checking in to see if my guides have anything else that they want to share with me. Okay, so yes, there is one last thing. You are going to be invited to go on a 45-day challenge to connecting with your higher self. Now, what this is going to look like is you are going to go through the meditation that we just did again after this webinar. There we go. And you are going to ask your higher self your yes, your no, and your neutral. You can assign or you can choose your symbols if you don't necessarily want to sit with the meditation, though it is always great to be intentional. Your inner self, your higher self, your energy is going to be what you need it to be. So if you want to sit for a moment and decide what your yes, no, and neutral signs are for you, feeling, it could be a feeling if you don't want it to necessarily be a sign. For the next 45 days, anytime you need to make an open-ended decision, so it's like, should I wear this shirt? Should I have this for dinner? Should I go to this person's house? Whatever that is for you, you're going to sit before you actually make that decision to see what sign or feeling shows up for you between yes, no, or neutral. If it's neutral, you get to pick. If it's yes, always, always, always follow through with it. If it is no, always, always, always follow through with it. And for the next 45 days, I encourage you to pick up a journal or to use a piece of paper to just jot down how these decisions are unfolding for you. Because in order for you to be able to move forward with more clarity and guidance and insight as to who you are and the directions that are coming for you and the guidance that comes through for you, in order to be able to understand how to listen to that more in depth, you have to understand how you receive your messages. So when you set out this intention for your yes, no's, and neutrals, and you follow through with it every time, depending on how they show up for you, you start to receive this clarity and you start to attune your energy to know when to pay attention. Example, I was having breakfast with my husband this morning. We were having a conversation about something. All of a sudden, my intuition told me that I needed to turn around and go look at my daughter because she was going to choke. And she wasn't making any noises. There was nothing to indicate out loud that this was something. And immediately I decided to get up, go around the corner, and she was sitting there chewing on a piece of paper or sticker, and it was falling apart in her mouth. So I had to scrape it out and take it away from her. But if I wouldn't have known my higher self cues as to when to listen to my intuition, that could have been a whole nother scenario. So that's just like a very small incremental thing of how your higher self, your intuition can come through for you and give you guidance and insight in a very quick moment as to what you need to know right now. And the more that you understand your cues, the easier when that guidance comes through for you, you'll know when to listen. It's about tuning in, understanding, and connecting with it. And it can be just like that. The second you decide that these are your signs or these are your feelings you want to feel, so maybe your yes is you want to feel relief or goosebumps. Maybe your no is that you want to feel like a contraction in your stomach for a brief moment. Maybe your neutral is just like you just don't feel anything, right? So then you get to decide. Maybe you want it to be a symbol. Maybe your yes, you see a key. Maybe your no, you see a cat. Maybe your neutral, you see a whale, right? Totally make it what you want it to be. But your energy is going to listen because it wants you to understand and connect to this just as much as you want to. So for the next 45 days, you're going to go through this, asking yourself the open-ended questions. Don't do things like, is the light going to turn green? Because the light's going to turn green. That's kind of, I don't want to say like a waste of your time, but it's like, it's irrelevant, right? So it's like open-ended questions. Should I wear this shirt? Should I do this today? Should I try this? Should this happen? Yada, yada, yada. Like going through like that and just watching as your cues show up for you. In the beginning, you might not get anything. In the beginning, I didn't get anything, but it also had a lot to do with my belief as to how it worked or if it could even work for me. And the more that I started just to say, okay, this is something that is available for me. This is something that happens for me. It gets to be this easy. It gets to be this effortless. I am connected to my higher self. I am connected to my guidance moving me forward in my life. The more the pictures, the images, and the feelings became stronger, and the easier that it was for these things to unravel. So you could save a baby's life, or you can move forward in grand and beautiful directions in your life too. So that's going to be your challenge. It's going to be in the email that also has the guided meditation, the worksheets, if you haven't already downloaded them, and the replay video within the next couple hours. And yeah, I encourage you to come back to this, especially when you feel stuck or uncertain with something in your life, just to get that refresher. Okay, Brittany says, do you think you know why my word was peace? I saw color. She was wearing white, purple backgrounds with the stars bright in the back, and I had a sense of feeling solid with this person. Or will this be something I find out as time goes on? Super interesting. Yes, girl. I knew I was connecting with someone. Okay, so Brittany, your word was peace. So to me, when I connect with this and I connect with your energy, your guides talk about the energy, like peace being a blanket for everything in your life right now. So something's happening where you're going to be going through and have already been in the last like 5 to 6 months going through big transitions in your life, or a lot of things have been coming to the surface for you. And that word peace that you're getting shown to me says that this is like where you're going. You're going into a place with more peace. You're going to a place with more ease. You're going to a place where things get to be more effortless for you. And it's not like every day we're waking up and we're like, oh, I hope today's a good day. Peace is also a beautiful sign to get from your higher self, for them to let you know that you're safe in this. So especially when you go to do expansive things in your life, it can become overwhelming, especially if you're new to it and your body starts to feel those symptoms that I talked about in the morning, or in the beginning about like experiencing nausea or headaches or anxiety or things like this. You're just going to ask your guides or your higher self or your angels or universe to take away what doesn't belong to you. Within 5 minutes, that should be alleviated. If it's not, you can do it again. And then if it still isn't, it's something that we need to pay attention to, because we do actually just get these feelings too. And then that's how you're going to to pay attention to it. But knowing that this transition and the opening that you're about to go through is going to be okay. It is safe. It is peaceful. She was wearing white. So white is the color of protection. So she is also acknowledging that where you're going is a very protected and safe space. My higher self is always wearing a white dress. And to me, this is also illuminating or showing me and making me feel like she is very graceful and very elegant. She is clean. She's not spilling things all over herself like I typically do. She is just free and flowing and really free and safe, right? Purple backgrounds with the stars bright in the back. So purple is your mind's eye color, so that makes sense. You seeing a lot of that actually means that you have a very activated mind's eye, so I feel like that exercise was really effortless for you. And then the bright stars, I actually feel like has more to do with past life, and connection to where you came from and why your transition, especially through Intuition Academy, is going to be really, really insightful and interesting for you in so many ways, because I feel like with the bright stars, typically for me and for clients that I've walked through this exercise before, when they're experiencing the bright stars, you also are very likely into astrology, star alignments, planetary alignments are going to be a big thing for you. When you hear of like Mercury retrograde or particular moon seasons, you're probably very affected by this. So you have I hear Syrian, so big past life connection to Syrian, which is light beings of the stars. If you want more on that, just message me. I'll give you some information. But this made me emotional. Thank you. So yeah, so deep, deep connection for you. And I had a sense of feeling solid with this person. So this person letting you know that she is you right now. So the solidification is that she's telling you you're already there. You have everything that you need within you. And now it's just about working that and building that up and believing in it. The craziness is going to be there no matter who you are and what you do, but your perspective, your intention, and your energy of how you approach it is going to navigate and neutralize that a lot more easier for you as you go through it. And then Caitlin, that's so awesome. I love that those signs were what they were. That's perfect. Okay, so I really hope you enjoyed this tonight. Lots of good stuff for you to connect with your higher self, have a deeper understanding with your mind's eye. If you found this exercise to be a little more difficult for you, I do encourage you to do the vision boarding exercise, and to incorporate that indigo color in your life. So whether it's blueberries, grapes, other different foods, that's the only ones I can think of right now that are that color, wearing that particular color. It could be jewelry, it could be clothing, it could be headbands. Incorporating it into your physical self, or on your physical self, or in your physical self, is a beautiful way to help to activate that particular chakra for you as well, to make this exercise moving forward more effortless, because that's what we're all doing. We're all expanding our energy into a space where things get to be more effortless for us in all ways, divine, everything. So thank you for spending the time with me tonight, and I hope you have a wonderful time.